Hey guys, it's Sandeep from Rev Atlas and welcome to episode number 4 in our Q&A series that's called Ask Rev Atlas. So in this video, we'll also be announcing a special giveaway at the end of this video, so do stay tuned for that. Without much further ado, let's get this started. So the first question is from Yogesh Raj. He has asked a really interesting question. Chinese manufacturers are introducing in-display fingerprint scanners. Why these top companies such as Samsung and Apple didn't introduce it till now, and why they're taking much time? So it's not that Samsung or Apple doesn't have the kind of technology or the kind of research and development it takes to manufacture smartphones with in-display fingerprint scanners. It's just that they kind of need a certain level of refinement or certain level of accuracy and pace in order to implement it on their smartphones. So these Chinese brands actually have a kind of requirement to kind of up the ante and bring out smartphones with certain USPs compared to these other brands, because the other brands smartphones kind of sell themselves. They don't really need to do much marketing and promote certain features because they have a certain brand loyalty from fans, and they also have premium feeling and premium experience that smartphone users and buyers would go towards even without all these technologies or features implemented. But these Chinese manufacturers often have to provide certain groundbreaking technology to showcase that their smartphones are not as bad as people think they are. They're actually good in certain ways. So that's probably why they have already pushed in display fingerprint scanners, and if you notice, they're actually not as fast as the regular fingerprint scanners on board smartphones these days, be it on the back or the front or even the side. But still, they have pushed it because they want to kind of show themselves as being pioneers or innovators in terms of technology. So I think we will see the same from Samsung or Apple very soon as well, but perhaps in a more polished and refined way of implementation. So next question is from Vishal, who has asked, do you think Google should move towards making dual camera given the trend demands it? And if yes, what according to you should the extra camera be doing? So I think that dual cameras or triple camera setups can definitely be beneficial to the end user. So far, Google has kind of made sure that the single camera experience that they provide is kind of ahead of even the dual camera setup, especially when it comes to the portrait mode and the blur algorithm, etc. But there will definitely be a point where an extra lens or an extra sensor could definitely benefit the end user, and I think that's where Google needs to kind of innovate. So I'm not sure what exactly they're going to do this year, but I think if they actually provide something of a different experience even with the single camera setup, it seems like they would be going towards a single camera setup judging by the leaks. So if they can provide enough value addition with the single camera, then I think it's fine to go ahead with it. But maybe next year they definitely have to make the push towards a dual camera setup. But it's also interesting to see that the front camera setup could actually be a dual camera judging from the leaks itself. So I'm not sure what Google has in mind or what kind of implementation they have. I personally would prefer having a wide angle camera, because with that excellent HDR plus algorithm, I think a wide angle camera comes really in handy as opposed to a telephoto lens, unless it's kind of like the 3x optical zoom which is offered by the P20 Pro. So next question is from Madhav, and he has asked a question in 3 different tweets. So it's a bit lengthy, but I'll read it as fast as I can. I had a question in my mind for the past few weeks. I believe many content creators having thousands or even some who have crossed millions of subscribers are not able to provide the quality that your channel does have. Growth pace of your channel has been a little slow, if you agree. When I first watched your video without looking on the subscriber count, I thought it must be more than 500,000. Reason I discovered it is that you don't prefer controversial content. Your content is always direct to the point, always. So how? Sit. Number sit. Sit. Number sit. So Madhav has asked a really interesting question, and he has split it over 3 different tweets, quite lengthy, so I'll just put it on screen so you guys can see it. But the gist of it is basically, how do you manage to keep yourself motivated, especially when there are issues such as low views and subscriber rate and the growth rate is less? The answer is very simple. If you enjoy what you do, you can easily get motivated to do more. So we at Rev Atlas, we love shooting videos, we love smartphones, we love technology, we love whatever we do. So putting content out there is not an issue for us. And then you guys have been really supportive. You have given us great feedback. Even if it's negative, feedback is still great. So you show us how we can improve, and whenever we improve or take your points and suggestions into consideration, you kind of make it a point to compliment on that, and that kind of motivates us definitely. So I think that's your answer. So Shantanu has asked, do you think that the leaked image of the Pixel 3 XL is going to be the final version? Is that a notch or another phone inside? I'm most definitely sure that it is a notch inside. Whether or not the design and other aspects will change by the time the final version comes out, that remains to be seen. But in most cases, I think this is very close to the final product, if not the actual final product, because a lot of times when smartphones are in development, it takes months or perhaps even years before they can actually finalize on something. It's not that they can make a smartphone within a month or two and just roll it out. So during that process, it is also important, especially with a smartphone such as the Pixel, which emphasizes quite a lot on the smartphone camera. It becomes important to test the final build or the final camera quite a bit before actually releasing it. So they give it to DxOMark, for example. So even that has to be the final build and has to showcase the true potential of the camera. So I think now we are just a few months away. August, September, by October, 3 months away, we are supposed to get the Pixel devices announced, at least officially. So it is very close to the final product, and I think we will get whatever we see in the leaks currently. So we posted the same thing on YouTube community as well, and we've got some interesting questions. One of which was from Sudhanshu. What's the use of 4K video recording in a smartphone when you don't have a 4K screen? Moreover, human eye can't differentiate between a full HD and 4K video. Okay, so I'll answer the second part first. Human eye can definitely distinguish between full HD and 4K video. If you can't, then probably you have some issue with your eyes or you have cataract, I guess. But there is a definite point to recording in 4K, not just single point, multiple points. One is probably the most easiest, and that is being future proof. If you shoot something in full HD now, you can be assured that that will definitely get outdated faster than a 4K video. Say full HD video will last you 3 years in terms of being able to match the output of most monitors or smartphones, etc. A 4K video will definitely last you maybe 5 years, if not more, compared to a 4K video. So future proofing is one. The other thing is, when you watch 4K content, when you downsample the content or when you actually play it on a smaller screen, it will definitely appear sharper than a 1080p video itself. So that's why certain smartphones such as the P20 Pro, for example, it has a 40 megapixels of resolution, but it actually combines the pixels into 4 different pixels into one, makes it a 10 megapixel image. So by downsampling, you get much more sharpness, etc. And if I think what you were kind of referring to in terms of it not being able to distinguish is perhaps in terms of screen size. When Apple originally kind of unveiled the Retina display on the iPhone 4, they said that the human eye can't distinguish anything more than 310 ppi, and that kind of makes sense. So because when you have a smartphone with a 4-inch display and that kind of resolution, you probably won't see it. Imagine having a 1-inch display with 4K resolution. It's not practical. I don't think you'll see any difference as well. But if you definitely see a 55-inch with 1080p and 4K screen, you'll definitely be able to see the difference. So the next question, or rather two sets of questions, are kind of related, so I'll combine them. Your Tech Advisor asked, what was your previous job, buddy, and why you left and started a YouTube channel? And Aryan has also asked, who inspired you to create your own channel, and what FPS do you shoot footage at? So I used to work at Phone Arena for quite a long time. Phone Arena was one of the most important blogs and YouTube channels in India for a long time, and it still is. And I used to work there as a content creator. I used to make videos, I used to write articles, etc. for a really long time. I worked with them maybe 7 or 8 years, I guess, total. And then I felt like I could do something better by starting something on my own in terms of quality, in terms of the visuals, etc. I thought there was a gap that was missing in the Indian YouTube scene itself, and considering that videos were kind of becoming the next big thing, if they weren't already next big thing, they still were going to become, at least. And I felt that that was something that I could possibly cater to, that kind of demand for videos, and that's how Revertless started. And what FPS we shoot at, basically slow motion we shoot at 240 FPS, otherwise we shoot at 60 FPS in terms of speed tests, etc. when you need to get that smooth motion. Otherwise we prefer to keep it at 24 FPS. The last question is from Tawhid. He has asked, do mobile companies give review products to you or you buy it? I think it's a mix of both. So we primarily get review units from smartphone makers. So most of what you see, this OnePlus 6 here for example, the Honor 10, the Zenfone 5Z, the P20 Pro, and most of the smartphones that we get are definitely review units, but once in a while we do make purchases, especially if we don't get the device and we feel that you guys need to see the content. Realme One was an example. We tried reaching out to the company several times, they never gave a reply, etc. But when we saw the kind of response and the kind of queries and questions you guys had about the Realme One, we felt kind of obliged to give you that particular review or our take on the smartphone itself, which is why we purchased the Realme One, and we'll be selling it after we are done with the content. But we purchased it from the money that we earned from our own pockets, and we brought the content to you. So at the beginning of this video, we told you that we'll be doing a giveaway, and we definitely will. So this is what we'll be giving away. This is the AMX X1 hybrid earphone. So you can basically use this as a wired earphone with a 3.5mm audio jack, or you can use it as a Bluetooth earphone as well by just changing the cable itself. So this is something that we have already reviewed. In case you're interested, you can definitely check out the review from the link in description below. We'll link that as well. And how you can win it is basically simple. All you need to do is head over to the links in description. You can follow AMX across their social media platforms, and also make sure to subscribe us on our YouTube channel, and also follow us on our social media channels, and probably even give a sort of comment in the description below stating why you would like to win this and what's your favorite thing about the AMX X1. Thanks for watching this video. See you again in the next one. Notification issue with Motivate.